When Adam and Jessica Davis decided to expand their family, they weren't searching for perfection. They already had 4 beautiful children, but as they grew older, the house began to feel a little too quiet. The Davises didn't want another biological child. Instead, they wanted to give love to someone who had none, a child who needed a home. After weeks of research, they found a highly praised agency in Ohio, European adoption consultant. The agency's website was filled with smiling faces and heartfelt promises of connecting American families with orphans from around the world. It seemed like a noble mission, and when the agency called them one afternoon with news of a little girl in Uganda named Namada, their hearts melted instantly. "She's 5 years old," the agent explained. "Her father passed away and her mother can no longer care for her. She needs a family urgently." Adam and Jessica didn't hesitate. Even when they learned the adoption fees would reach nearly $150,000, they didn't flinch. "Money doesn't matter," Jessica said. "She's already our daughter." In 2015, they flew halfway across the world to meet her. The moment they stepped into God's Mercy Orphanage, the smell of damp walls and dust filled the air. Dozens of children sat on the floor, their eyes wide with curiosity. But among them, one small girl stood out shy, thin, with the saddest eyes they had ever seen. When she looked up at Jessica and whispered, "Mama," something inside her broke. The paperwork was signed, the fees were paid, and soon after, Namada was in their arms smiling for the first time in a long time. The Davises brought her home to Ohio, introducing her to her 4 new siblings. They nicknamed her Mada, and within days, it felt like she had always been part of their family. She learned English quickly, laughed easily, and adjusted to life faster than anyone had expected. Adam and Jessica were overjoyed. They thought they had given her a second chance at life. But they had no idea that beneath Mada's smile lay a truth darker than anything they could have imagined. Months passed and Mada's English improved dramatically. She began to share stories from her old life, stories that didn't fit what Adam and Jessica had been told. She spoke of her mother, her village, her brothers and sisters, and the games she used to play with them by the river. She said her mother tucked her in every night and told her bedtime stories. Jessica's heart skipped a beat. "But, Mada," she asked softly, "you said your mother didn't want you anymore." The little girl looked confused. "No," she said. "My mama loves me. She said she'd see me again soon." The words hit Jessica like a punch to the chest. The adoption papers had been clear Mata was an orphan, abandoned with no family to claim her. But now, it seemed that wasn't true. Something wasn't right. The more Mata spoke, the clearer it became. She hadn't been unwanted. She had been taken. The Davises couldn't sleep that night. Mata's innocent words echoed in their minds over and over. "My mama loves me." How could that be possible? The agency had sworn she was an orphan, neglected, unwanted. But now, every detail in her story felt too vivid, too real to be a child's fantasy. Driven by dread, Adam began searching online for information about adoption fraud. The more he read, the sicker he felt. Reports of fake orphanages, staged stories, and agencies exploiting desperate families. He turned to Jessica, pale and shaken. What if she wasn't abandoned at all? They reached out to Karen Riley, a child advocate known for reuniting trafficked children with their families. When she heard Mada's story, she didn't hesitate. "This sounds exactly like what's been happening in Uganda," she said. "You need to let me investigate." Weeks later, Riley called with the news that shattered everything. "We found her," she said softly. Namada's mother is alive, and she's been searching for her daughter every single day since the adoption. Jessica's knees buckled. She couldn't breathe. Adam stood frozen, staring at the wall as Riley continued. "The agency lied. They tricked her mother into believing Namada was going to study in America. She thought her daughter would return home one day. She never agreed to give her away." Tears streamed down Jessica's face. The truth was unbearable. Their miracle adoption had been built on a crime. They arranged a video call. When the screen lit up, a Ugandan woman appeared, eyes tired, voice trembling. The moment she saw Mada, she gasped and covered her mouth, sobbing uncontrollably. "My baby, my Namada." Mada froze for a second, then whispered, "Mama?" The connection wasn't perfect, but the emotion cut through every pixel. Mother and daughter cried together, separated by continents but bound by love stronger than lies. Adam and Jessica knew then what they had to do. It was the hardest decision of their lives, but it was the only right one. They bought 2 plane tickets, one for Jessica and one for Mada, and flew back to Uganda. The reunion was beyond words. As the car pulled into the village, dozens of people gathered, whispering in disbelief. And then, from the crowd, Mada's real mother appeared, running forward with tears streaming down her face. She dropped to her knees, clutching her daughter as if afraid to ever let go again. Everyone wept. Even Jessica, standing a few steps back, felt both heartbreak and peace. She knew she was losing a daughter, but she was giving a family back what had been stolen from them. Months later, news broke that European adoption consultants had been exposed for orchestrating an international trafficking ring, falsifying documents, lying to parents, and selling children for profit. The FBI raided their offices, uncovering hundreds of fraudulent files. Many children would never find their way back home, but one did thanks to Adam and Jessica's courage to face the truth. Today, the Davises still keep in touch with Mata's family. They've joined child rights organizations, helping expose corrupt agencies and guiding other adoptive families through safer, transparent processes. Jessica often says that Mata's story changed her forever. "We thought we were rescuing her," she said quietly. "But in the end, she rescued us from ignorance, from comfort, from believing good intentions are enough. Sometimes love means holding on, and sometimes it means letting go."